This week on Talking Pictures with Neil Rosen, we'll look at the new suspense thriller, Promising Young Woman, starring Carey Mulligan, the new Tom Hanks Western, News of the World, the comedy drama, Let Them All Talk with Meryl Streep, and the sci-fi flick, The Midnight Sky, directed and starring George Clooney. Plus, the historical drama, One Night in Miami, about a legendary evening that took place in 1964. We've got all that and many more movie picks coming up. I'm Neil Rosen, and welcome to Talking Pictures. It's our monthly Critic Roundtable show where we debate what's worth watching and what's not when it comes to new releases, hidden gems, and Hollywood classics. We know that most movie theaters are still closed. They're still closed. Can you believe this? And you're probably craving some entertainment. So along with my panel who are all streaming from home, we have plenty of movies and TV series for you to watch at home. Joining me are Bill McCuddy from Gold Derby. Hey there, Bill.
Neil, as always, you are so right, and I agree with everything you say.
Perry Nemroth's back from Collider.
I got a fancy new prop in the background, but I will say Bill's background beats me this time.
Okay, and returning to the show, my buddy, Rafer Guzman from Newsday. Hey, Rafer.
Hey, Neil. As you can see behind me, I've become a 10-year-old child.
Well, let's start out with a look at several new films that are either available on demand or on streaming services, beginning with something called Promising Young Woman. Let's take a look at a clip.
I just thought that you were...
Drunk?
Yeah.
Really drunk?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. But that's good, isn't it?
I think you should leave.
Oh, now you want me to leave?
No, I'm really high right now. I don't know what I'm doing. I think you should go.
But a second ago, you were determined for me to stay. You were pretty insistent, actually.
I'm a nice guy.
Are you?
Bill, tell us about Promising Young Woman.
Well, that's Carey Mulligan, and in my book, she's doing Oscar-worthy work. She drops out of med school and spends weekends picking up men, pretending to be drunk. She gets them home, she sobers up quickly, and what we have very quickly is a provocative, timely thriller that could be called The Unhappy Hour. It's darkly comedic. It has a boyfriend who's nice, actually, one of the few nice guys, we think, for a while, in Bo Burnham, and it has a killer ending. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. In fact, it's my #1 film of the year, and it gets one of my highest recommendations. Don't miss Promising Young Woman.
Rafer.
You know, I thought this was a great concept with only semi-successful execution. I really wanted a film that was going to go whole hog and give me something really scary, sexy, bloody. It just didn't happen. I'm sorry to say it because I love Carey Mulligan. I was really excited for this film, but it's a lot of talk. I kept waiting for sort of a Brian De Palma, Paul Verhoeven explosive moment. There is one, as we all know, but I had to wait so long for it, and I was a little disappointed in this one.
Perry.
Oh no, I'm much more on Bill's side with this one. I still can't get over what a stylish, sharp, and confident first feature this is from Emerald Fennell. That part of it is mind-blowing to me. I'm also a very big believer that Carey Mulligan, at the very least, deserves that Academy Award nomination, and I think she's gonna get it. Her ability here to kind of blend that outward confidence with her character's mission, and then also this inner heartbreak and rage that's driving it all, that right there is next level stuff, and part of the reason why this movie works exceptionally well.
Well, I couldn't agree with Bill and Perry more on this. This is also, Bill, my favorite movie of 2020. And Carey Mulligan, I agree with you, deserves an Oscar nomination for this thing this year. First of all, if you're familiar with her work, nothing in her previous work, like in An Education, where she's this innocent, nothing would prepare you for this. She's tremendous. Bo Burnham is great. And, you know, this thing grabs you right in the beginning, never lets go. It's a suspense thriller with lots of twists and turns. I can't recommend this enough. Moving on, let's talk about the new Western, News of the World. Perry, tell us about it.
All right, so this one here, it takes place 5 years after the end of the Civil War, and it stars Tom Hanks as Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd. He's a veteran who now goes from town to town reading the news out loud. While he's on the road, he encounters a 10-year-old girl who was captured and then raised by Kiowa, and what he decides to do is commit to bringing her back to her aunt and uncle. I think with assessing this one, I need to just state the obvious first. Tom Hanks is phenomenal, and he is just absolutely perfect for this role. His command of the scream and also his warmth with that role is kind of pivotal here. And overall, I would say it's not the most complex movie out there. It's kind of just like a string of encounters that they experience along the way. But what really makes this one land in the end is the chemistry between the two main characters and the atmosphere and the style of it all. Because this is the type of movie that I don't think we get very often, or not often enough.
Bill?
I don't think, to your point, Perry, that the Old West had a beginning and middle and an end in any story. We drop in here, we meet Hanks. You're right, he's perfect. It's kind of perfect for him because he's a guy you would trust, like Walter Cronkite, to deliver the news. He's kind of a Brian Williams door-to-door salesman. And it's just a terrific performance all the way around. A couple of big moments. I love the young woman in this thing. And it has a heartwarming ending. I recommend News of the World wholeheartedly.
Rafer?
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that it took Tom Hanks so long to make his first Western. This is the first Western he's ever done. I mean, he is our Jimmy Stewart after all, and it took him so long to make this movie. Obviously, he's great in it. I think it has a lot of parallels to the modern day in terms of you've got this fractured nation still from the Civil War. You've got these ideas of the media, distrust of the media, propaganda. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, some obvious parallels to The Searchers, the great old John Ford Western. I liked it a lot. It's really beautifully directed. It looks great. And yeah, Tom Hanks in a Western, what more do you want?
Yeah, it's real good. You might say it's predictable and by the numbers, but it doesn't matter. To your point, Perry, it's all about the bond that forms over the course of the movie between Hanks and the young girl played by Helena Zengel, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. She's also terrific. It's shot beautifully. And the last 10 minutes, which I won't reveal, are just so powerful that's worth the price of admission alone. I highly recommend this. Tom Hanks, great job, and go check it out on demand. Okay, Rafer, please talk about Let Them All Talk.
All right, I will. This is Steven Soderbergh's latest movie. It's got Meryl Streep playing an author named Alice Hughes. She's just won this literary prize in England. She doesn't want to fly, so she decides to take a cruise. She brings along a couple of old friends, played by Diane Wiest and a very good Candice Bergen, and her nephew, played by Lucas Hedges. What Alice doesn't know is that her literary agent has also snuck aboard. She's played by Gemma Chan, and this literary agent is trying to find out what Alice Hughes is up to. What is Alice Hughes going to write next? I have a feeling I might be in the minority on this one, but I actually like this movie quite a bit. I think it's funny. I think it's clever. I think it's stylish. I love this weird mini genre that Steven Soderbergh has where he just gets people together, has them improvise, and he shoots it in this really stylish, interesting way. And you just kind of full frontal The Girlfriend Experience or two more movies like this. I think it fits kind of neatly in there. I think a lot of people think this is subpar Woody Allen, but I got to tell you, I liked it.
Bill, you had an interesting.
Listen. This is very chatty. I say, don't let them all talk and talk and talk and talk. The great Diane Wiest is in this thing. The cast is amazing, and it must have been a lot of fun to get on the Queen Mary and go from New York over to Southampton in England. But listen, this is a long slog, and I wanted to love it a lot. Everybody's good. But Lucas Hodges also in this thing. Not sure I can recommend it. You stumble across it when you're flipping around. Yeah, sure, why not? But otherwise, no. This ship sinks.
By the way, the Queen Mary which was filmed on location, looks great in the film. Since you have to look at the ship. But anyway, I'll come back in a moment with my opinion. Perry, what's your take?
Oh, first off, Rafer, didn't you learn anything? It's a crossing, not a cruise.
Yes, crossing, Rafer.
Excuse me.
So, as I was watching this
not a boat.
I was a little surprised how riveted I was by each little conversation we get, because the movie meanders quite a bit, but when you sit in a moment for a while, I was fairly taken by it. And I was curious to see where everybody would end up. The problem is the movie never fully digs into any of the complexities that it brings up, the rifts between the character. You kind of just skate the surface of all of it. And even though I was fairly engaged, in the end, the movie left me really empty. And I think for that reason, more so than anything, I can't recommend it.
The plot has a lot of holes in it. It jumps all over the place. And the most interesting storyline to me, well, there's two. One is between Lucas Hedges and who has this trying to make a pass at Gemma Chan, who's much older than him, and he's shy and awkward. And I kind of like that. And I also think the Candice Bergen storyline about this, she's got rich friends and she's working what was she, a saleswoman in
retail,
a department store or something. And she's just looking to find a guy on the crossing on the ship. But, you know, to me, what makes this worth a look is the acting, watching these three acting giants, Meryl Streep, Diane Wiest, Candice Bergen, act. And for that reason alone, I think Steven Soderbergh, directing this, I think he did a decent job. It's an adult grown-up movie, which they don't make a lot of these days. And if you're looking for that, I would recommend the film.
But this is what Steven Soderbergh came out of retirement for? Come on.
He's not even in retirement. I mean, going into
Enjoy
retirement.
his crossing. I hope he had a nice time on the ship.
He says he's retiring, and he's made 12 films since he said he was retiring. So I don't get that.
He's the Celine Dion of directors.
One Night in Miami looks at the evening in 1964 where four icons, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown, gathered in a motel room to discuss, among other things, their roles in the civil rights movement. Let's take a look at a clip.
All right. When is this party going down?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's on the agenda, Malcolm?
Well, I thought this would be a wonderful chance for us to reflect on what's happened tonight. Like our young brother said, there's no denying that greater forces were at work.
You mean no one else is coming?
Oh, rest assured, my brother, you're not missing anything.
Rafer, tell us about One Night in Miami.
All right, well, this is the directorial debut of Regina King, and it's a fictionalized account of a very real night. I was very surprised to find out that this actually happened. And although we don't really know, we have no actual record of what these guys talked about, this is your sort of what if, fly on the wall version of what these guys, these four Black American icons might have discussed at this moment in time. The movie can be a little unfocused, a little meandering, but I mean, the performances are just extraordinary. You've got Eli Gorey as Cassius Clay, Kingsley Ben-Adir, an amazing Malcolm X. You've got Leslie Odom Jr. as Sam Cooke. I think Leslie Odom Jr. is really going to be the guy who is going to be the man to beat for an Oscar. His version of A Change Is Going to Come, a cappella on The Tonight Show, another real event that's been lost to history, is the capstone of this movie, and it's just extraordinary. So the performances are really what you're here to see. It's in that sense, it's really incredible.
Yeah, I love the recreation of The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson when he does that. That was great. Hey, Bill, what's your take on this?
Well, first of all, Rafer, can I tell you, I'm having a little trouble with my Capital One credit card. Can you switch me over to customer service? Yeah, listen, as I said, this was an amazing Malcolm X, and I really enjoyed the whole thing. I thought Regina King did a great job of opening this stage play up and taking us outside of that motel room a couple of times. I think there are tremendous performances all the way around. I'm going to warn people, there's a gut-wrenching thing in the beginning involving Jim Brown and Beau Bridges. But in general, if you just look at the trailer for this film, you might take a pass on it. It looks flat. It's anything but.
Perry?
Hands down, one of the best ensembles I've seen all year. And I'm with you, Rafer. I think the best chance at a nomination is Leslie Odom Jr., but it would be a real shame if the other three weren't recognized in some form throughout award season. And I also think the same is going to happen for Regina King. There is a good shot she can get a Best Director nomination for not only her feature directorial debut, but an especially ambitious one. We've seen a lot of play adaptations this year, and I might say she's one of the ones who did the best job just making sure her camera work and her style best supports her cast more so than anything. And when you have that 1-2 punch of great actors and then a director who brings the most out of them, like, you can't touch that.
Okay. First of all, let me say that I think the performances are great, and I do recommend this. But that said, it was a play first. And there's a lot of time that is spent in this dingy motel room, which is very stagey. And when it opens up, like the beginning of the movie, when it's a movie and you see, as he was called at the time, Cassius Clay and the Sonny Liston fight, or you see Sam Cooke bombing at the Copacabana, as you know, when he's headlining at the Copacabana. And then there's a flashback later on in the movie where Sam Cooke salvages a show where the audio goes out in Boston. That's a movie because I'm taken to those events. But there's many long periods where it's just talk in this hotel room, which functions more like a play. But that said, the performances are so good. Regina King, who's an actor herself, gets the most out of these guys. And what they're talking about, even though it's 1964, has so much relevance today that when you combine all those factors, this is definitely worth a look. And I think this will get a lot of Oscar nods too. What's really cool about this is that when these four guys, though, are in the motel, they're humanized. they're not their on-camera personas. They're talking in completely, you've never seen Muhammad Ali like this. You've never seen Malcolm X like this. It's like, this is what these guys are like off camera. And I kind of dug that too. Perry, something called Midnight Sky with George Clooney. Tell us about that.
This one is directed by and also stars Clooney. He plays Augustine, a scientist who's living all alone at this observatory in the Arctic after this cataclysmic event basically rocks Earth. Then on top of that, there's also Felicity Jones, who plays an astronaut character, and she's on her way back to Earth after this real long mission. When Augustine finds out that her spaceship is returning, he becomes determined to warn her and her co-astronauts not to. This one had me for about 2/3 of the movie. You don't need to tell you that George Clooney is super captivating, whether he's in the middle of a scene with some action to it, or if it's a more private moment for that character. And I thought the space set material looks great. There's one particular scene in that portion of the movie that might be one of my favorite scenes of the year, and also is just seared in my brain for the rest of my life. You guys know my taste, so you probably know what I'm getting at here. But the problem,
I don't know what you're getting. I don't think we saw the same movie, but go on.
The problem with this one, though, winds up being the ending, because Midnight Sky stumbles across the finish line, and when that ending falls flat, again, it's like what I said earlier. It's hard to recommend a movie when they can't stick the landing.
Well, you said the problem is with the ending. I think the problem was with the whole movie. Rafer, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think I stuck with this one for about 3 minutes before I started realizing that I was just in for a total disaster. There's just no story here. There's no dramatic tension. It's just one damn thing after another. Oh no, it's a meteor shower. Oh no, I fell through the ice. Oh no, there are some wolves. I just couldn't believe this movie. It was so dull. And you tune in for George Clooney because he's George Clooney and he really is great. I mean, you'd watch him do anything, but oh man, this movie just fell apart from the minute it started.
I see you're agreeing with Rafer, Bill.
Yeah, well, here's the headline. This is Clooney Tunes nonsense. I mean, I wanted to like it, but what is it with this guy, except for Gravity? What is it with this guy in space movies? Solaris, a couple of others that have been in that are so forgettable, I can't even remember them. I like some of the ideas going on in this movie, but the end, which jumps the spaceman, is really, really out there. I can't recommend this on any level.
Yeah, as I said earlier, it's not just the end. I'm with Rafer. It's like 3 to 5 minutes in. I'm like, what? I don't care what's going on. As you said, Rafer, there is no suspense. The only positive thing I can say about this is it's beautiful to look at. I mean, the budget on this and the sci-fi special effects are great, but who cares? It's not enough to carry the movie. I mean, like you said, wolves. I mean, seriously, yeah, really. I don't know, Perry. I think Perry's rolling her eyes back. I'm sorry, Perry. 3 against 1, but I hated this. Let's move on. Bill, tell me about a movie called Let 'Em Go.
Well, Kevin Costner and his wife, Diane Lane, are doing great work here. They don't think their recently widowed daughter-in-law married very well. She left Montana it's all set in the early 60s for the Dakotas with a new shady husband from an even shadier family. The headline here is the matriarch, the Ma Barker of the clan, is Leslie Manville, who kind of steals the latter half of the movie. She's so sensational in Harlots. Please watch Harlots. And you remember her from Phantom Thread. This is a revenge thriller about a couple that wants to get their grandson back. It has an over-the-top ending, but I forgive all of that because Costner and Diane Lane, who might be a supporting actress nominee here, are so great. Don't let them go. Go see it.
Rafer.
I'm not sure I'm going to agree on that. I do think that Lane and Costner are both really good. I liked the idea of this slow burn Western, kind of modern Western set in the 60s. It's an interesting time. I like the build up to the end. Your point about Leslie Manville, though, I think it's such a weird performance and such a weird character. She's kind of like, she is sort of like a Ma Barker, but she's also like a gangster's mall. And she's got this Illinois accent. And I kept thinking like, what movie are we in? Is this The Untouchables all of a sudden? What is this? And I feel like the movie was a little unclear about what it was trying to do, even though I was mostly engaged with it. I'm sorry, Bill. I was mostly compelled throughout it, but it's just too many rough spots for me.
Well, Bill's chewing up the cards. She was chewing up the scenery, but that worked for me. I like that. I thought, with that smile, have some pork chops where she really wants to stab a knife in your back. Perry, what's your take on this movie?
Sign me up for Team Leslie Manville as well. I loved her in this.
Yeah.
Lance
Yeah.
genuinely scared me. And because of my love of horror movies, I have a high bar when it comes to the scares. And she's just so good in that role, whether it's with the more violent scenes in the movie or even just like the verbal sparring that makes you think she could do or say anything in a given moment. And when you pair her keeping you on edge to Lane Costner's palpable love and devotion to getting their grandson back, the two warring things right there, even when the pace of the movie slows, I think that keeps the whole thing riveting from start to finish.
Look, it's a simple story that eventually, as it goes on, the tension keeps ratcheting up, and it had me. And I think what makes it work are the sensitive scenes between Diane Lane and Kevin Costner. And again, Leslie Mann, she's just great. It's a good versus evil story that I like this movie a lot. It's not going to bore you for one moment.
So I'm supposed to live you don't know where for you don't know how long, and also you don't know if Eddie's okay. Just let me call him. Let him be the one to explain it.
You can't.
You're talking about my husband.
No one knows where he is. You can't call him because no one knows where he is.
Is anybody looking?
Everyone's looking. And they're looking for you, too.
That was a clip from the new movie, I'm Your Woman. It happens to be Bill McCuddy's personal choice as we go around the panel with our critics' picks of the month. Bill.
Well, Rachel Brosnahan, as you saw or may not have recognized, is a long way from Midge Maisel on the Upper West Side of New York. She's a mob wife on the run with a new baby. This is set in and feels just like a 1970s movie. So Midge is going one decade at a time. She's been the 50s and 60s. Maybe the next movie Brosnahan will make will be from the 80s. She's basically being driven around and sort of protected by Anise Keene as her sort of overseer. This was all directed by Julia Hart, who's a woman, understands the material, understands 70s movies. Rachel Brosnahan produced it, so obviously she wants to get out of the Mitch Maisel mold, and I think this Amazon release does a really good job of that. I highly recommend I'm Your Woman.
Perry?
I am a huge fan of Marvelous Miss Maisel, and I love Rachel Brosnahan in it. It's so nice to get to see her kind of flex her acting muscles, just in case anyone out there only knows her from that show. Then just add this to it, and all of a sudden you can see this massive range.
Listen, I was really bored by this, and it was so unmemorable and left so little of an impression on me that a few days after I saw it, I actually forgot how it ended. And I actually had to go to Wikipedia to remind me of the end of the movie to read the plot. That's how bland this is. It's tedious and uninvolving.
Bill, I'm wishing I had index cards right now.
Perry, hit me with your critics' pick this month.
I cannot overstate how much I love Cobra Kai. It is a show that started on YouTube and it's now on Netflix. And it's basically a continuation of the story of Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence from the 1984 Karate Kid movie. And I know what you might think when you hear about the nostalgia factor and then bringing back a popular property to potentially milk it for more. But this is a prime example of how best to do that, because the cool thing about Cobra Kai is that it actually furthers their stories in an interesting way, and then it takes those lessons and it brings it to the younger ensemble, and then on top of that, you watch every season individually. You could watch season 1, go back to Karate Kid, and you watch that movie from a whole new perspective. But then they do it again in season 2, and then they do it again in season 3. And not only do they do that for Karate Kid in season 3, but they're starting to tap into stuff from Karate Kid Part 2 and Part 3. And the way they're doing it, it's almost too good. I can't get over how clever this show is.
Well, what's your pick this month, Rafer?
My pick is a documentary I think has actually gone totally unnoticed called Feels Good Man. And it is a movie about a documentary about a cartoonist named Matt Fury, or should I say it's about his creation, Pepe the Frog. And this is a little frog, sort of a stoner frog character that he wrote initially, just to be kind of like a Big Lebowski character almost. But he got co-opted by the alt-right and turned into a symbol of hate, so much so that the Anti-Defamation League had to put Pepe the Frog, this little harmless frog, on its list of hate symbols. And this documentary is all about Matt Fury trying the impossible, which is to take his creation back from the internet. Fascinating movie. I really think it says a lot about where we are now and why and how we got there. It's gone totally under the radar, but I just think it's a terrific watch.
Well, it's gone under the radar with me and the rest of the panel. We haven't seen it, but you've sold me. I'm going to check it out. How about you guys?
Check it out.
No.
I tried.
No.
Perry?
I've heard good things now from Rafer and also beyond, so count me in.
Well, finally, my pick this month is the documentary The Bee Gees, How Could You Mend a Broken Heart? And it's a look at the extraordinary career of the three Gibb brothers, who became a larger-than-life music group during the course of their remarkable career. Using rarely seen archival footage and interviews with the last surviving member, Barry Gibb, along with many people who worked, collaborated, or helped them, like Eric Clapton, as well as pure fans like Justin Timberlake, this is a history of a group that first reached fame in the late 60s with soft pop ballads. Their career wanes, but then they come roaring back in the late 70s as the kings of disco music, with doing the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever. And when disco goes out of fashion, they're so prolific, they start writing tons of top hits for other artists. The Bee Gees are a comeback story with multiple comebacks. They keep staying alive because they kept reinventing themselves. And this whole terrific doc offers up lots of surprises and insights into this musical trio. Also, there's tons of performance videos along the way, and you'll probably be singing along to most of the songs all the way through. Well, that's all the time we have. With any luck, we've given you some movies and TV shows to watch to help pass the time. And I want to thank Bill McCuddy, Perry Nemiroff, and Rafer Guzman. Stay well. I'm Neil Rosen. Join us next time on Talking Pictures.